Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the final day of the Leaders Majlis. Over the past few days, we've heard powerful ideas, bold perspectives, and inspiring journeys. But today is slightly different. Today is about the human side of entrepreneurship, the lived experiences, the resilience behind the success, and the lessons that don't always make it into headlines. Because behind every venture is a story, and that's exactly what today is about. Let's begin. Our first conversation is with someone who brings together experience, leadership, and a clear vision from entrepreneurial potential. Please join me in welcoming Abdurrahman Talib Al-Wahidi for a conversation titled From Experience to Leadership, Unlocking the Entrepreneurial Potential of Autism. From your experience, Abdurrahman, what are the key turning points that enabled individuals with autism to move from being supported to being leaders or entrepreneurs?
First of all, Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and thank you for inviting me to the Leadership Majlis. It's an honor for me to talk about my experience and open path for my fellow brothers and sisters who are having autism, as myself. So, again, with your first question, how it opens a path for us to leadership is, the first thing is when you see an individual, such as your manager or your own company, starts listening to you or people with autism and understanding your background and ask questions, and he's trying his best to train us to grow and open path for us.
What are practical changes are needed in workplaces and business environments to better support individuals with autism and to help them in the entrepreneurship pathways?
First, they have to understand the background of autism and what are our comfortable areas to start creating a career path for us, and also other than career path, like training courses. For example, leadership, which they invited me to leadership training after I proved to them that leadership programs is not only for supervisors or managers, it's applicable for everyone. So after I showed them my proofs of what I contributed to the company, alhamdulillah, I've been invited to the leadership, and alhamdulillah, I graduated. And after graduating, it opened more path for me. Other companies outside, could you believe that? Other companies outside came to know about me, and they opened opportunity for me to do autism awareness with them. So while doing that, it opened more path for me. So it's better for companies or managers or individuals to understand us and create the opportunities for us.
You said that businesses should give training courses. In your own perspective, what are some challenges that we need to tackle and to empower people with autism for them to succeed? What are some challenges in your own personal life?
In my own personal life, the challenges that I face is that when they see someone with disabilities, doesn't matter if you have autism, other disabilities, this person is not capable of growth. So we just put him in this position, and they not even think about creating a career path for him or her, and other enhancing his own skills. Yes.
So I think raising awareness into what type of challenges individuals with autism are facing, to be able to create that training courses or solutions for them. How can leadership create platforms where individuals with autism are empowered to contribute ideas or innovate or lead initiatives?
It's by creating a quarterly meeting with people with autism or people of determination, to gather them all in one session, ask them how's their career going, and if they have any ideas to contribute. And one of the ideas that I got the chance to contribute during my university journey is to create an empowerment council held by people of determination. And it went well, and it's about empowering people of determination, creating policies for people of determination and people with autism, easing the hiring and the policies, and make sure that we're contributed to focus on their growth.
Do you recall a successful story from that project?
Yes. Successful story is that I got to spread my message to my company and our community. And the big successful, as I told you, is that I unified our leadership's vision, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, and our leadership and our vision into one. And alhamdulillah, soon we'll start with the Empowerment Council in Abu Dhabi.
And what are the most critical barriers that still exist today? And what actionable steps can leaders take to address them effectively?
We're still facing restrictions for us, that we are not being heard, or there is no career path for us. And a worthy mention, I would like to mention my previous CEO, Ali Al-Saffar, when he came to know that I'm diagnosed with autism, and he knew that I'm continuing my studies in university remotely. So he did a background check on me and what achievements that I have achieved during my work, and what is an opportunity for me. Even though that I was, I created my own career path where I wanted to be in talent acquisition, to work with HR on policies for people of determination. So he came to me and said, I understand that you want to go for talent acquisition, but I honestly suggest you to come to the business intelligence to work as a business analyst, because I see that you're good with numbers, even though that I hate math, but for some reason that I'm good with analyzing and work with numbers. It's how my brain functions. And alhamdulillah, I've been successful with this career for, I think it's almost 2 years now with this career.
He saw your potential.
Yes.
It's not what you wanted, but he saw something in you in other field and you succeeded.
Yes.
Seeing someone as a friend or someone you will meet who is challenged in autism, what advice would you give him?
Whatever talent or skills he or she has, be in your comfortable space and let it go open. Don't restrict yourself and be like, nobody will listen to you. No, we listen. And also, I'm part of people of determination diagnosed with autism. It is also my job to be a great role model for everyone and make sure that also my brothers and sisters moved into the same path, the successful path.
Thank you, Abdurrahman. Thank you for the insightful conversation. And do you have last word? Do we have anyone who has a question for Abdurrahman?
Thank you.
عادي لو عندكم أي سؤال بالعربي.
الله مشيت في هالتحدي، منو كان معاك في البدايه؟
إن شاء الله. الوالدة الله يحفظها كانت معي في البداية. يوم بدأت اللي هو التوحد معي بين العمر 4 و6 سنوات. يعني الوالدة تعبت عليه وايد، يعني ما شاء الله عليها، فقامت توديني مراكز لأصحاب الهمم وتدرسني عن بعد. وبعد الدولة بعد ما قصرت اني اروح لامريكا عشان ان اتعالج، لان قبل كان الاوضاع صعبة، ما يعرفون شو التوحد بالضبط. ف الحمد لله، يعني يوم رديت لامريكا حصلنا اللي هو المركز المستقبل في ابو ظبي اللي هو حق اصحاب الهمم. فكملت كذا سنة وانتقلت إلى مدرسة خاصة. يعني المدارس ما كانت تقبل اللي هو حالات التوحد، انه صعب، هي تحدي، يعني كان لهم تحدي كبير. لكن مستر تايلر ومستر لاج يعني هم كانوا واثقين فيني ان في مكان عندي في مدرستهم. والحمد لله كملت لين يمكن اول ثانوي. بس اول ثانوي كان صعب لي، فرحت اللي هو المعهد. والحمد لله نحن كنا اول خريجه في المعهد. و... وبعد ان كنت اني احاول اوصل رساله للكل، وللشيخ سيف بن زايد ال نهيان. وطبعا قبل نفس ما خبرتك ان يشوفون اصحاب الهمم اللي فيهم توحد انهم مش قادرين. ف ما انا تاثرت، بس اللي حفزني كلام الشيخ سيف بن زايد، انه يعني انا فخور بيك انك انت عديت هالمرحله وتخرجت. فانا ما شفت ان النقطه فشل ان ما وصلت الرساله، بالعكس هذا النقطه خذيتها تحفيز. والوالده بعد الله يحفظها بعد هي ما استسلمت، قالت لا انت قدها. ومن هذاك اول انجاز اني تخرجت من الثانويه لين الحين، يعني قلت ان انا يعني بتزوج، بيكون عندي عيال، وبتوفق في الجامعه، بتوفق في الشغل، والحمد لله نفس ما تشوفون الحين الحمد لله.
نجحت.
نجحت.
والله للأمانة أنا ما لاحظت أن أنت من أصحاب التوحد، يعني ما يبين أبدا.
الحمد لله.
قلت لي نقطة مهمة، أن في تحدي كان أيام المدرسة، ولكن أنك أنت نجحت وتخرجت من الثانوية. هل كان دافع شخصي ولا كانت في عوامل حولك أثرت، يعني عطتك البوش هذا أنك أنت تسوي؟
هو الصراحة يعني أنا كنت أخاف أشارك في الصف، ووقت الامتحانات كنت أحتاج وقت أكثر. ان انا يعني مرات ان افضل ان اكون في صف بروحي واسوي الامتحان، والمدرس يعني ياخذ راحته يشرح لي ان اشيل السؤال. والحمد لله توفقت. وبعد طلاب المعهد بعد ما قصروا، بعد يوم بعد عرفوا عن حالتي، وبعد ما قصروا ساعدوني.
هل كانت أيام المدرسة والمرحلة اللي أنت تكلمت عنها هي السبب أن أنت في المجال الحين توعي وتحاول أنك تنشر التوعية بين الناس؟
هو طبعا نعم. من بعد ما تخرجت من المدرسة وقلت أبى أثبت أن نحن اللي متشخصين بالتوحد أو أصحاب الهمم أنهم قدها. وأنا أبى أطلع بالصورة أرويهم أنه مثال كبير، أن يعني أنا قبل كنت كيف، والحين كيف صرت أن عديت الصعوبات اللي واجهتها.
تكلمنا عنه بالإنجليزي، بس نقدر نتكلم بالعربي عن شو هي الجوانب أو الحلول التطويرية اللي أنت تشوفها مهمة في مجال العمل. تكلمنا بشكل وايد ملخص بالإنجليزي، بس أعتقد أنك أنت بترتاح في السرد باللغة العربية. كيف نقدر نحن نطور من آليات تساعد رجال الأعمال أو الموظفين في مجالات العمل أنهم يبدعون ويتطورون، وأنهم يفتحون وما يخافون وما يفكرون؟ شو هي بعض الحلول؟
هو الحل اللي هو ان كل 4 أشهر ان يجمعونا نحن اصحاب الهمم واصحاب الهمم في قاعة، يعني Q&A، وكيف الشغل معاكم، هل عندكم انتم افكار، هل تواجهون تحديات، وشو تنصحون. فالناس ما قلت لك اللي هو فكرة مجلس التمكين، ان اصحاب الهمم بيديرونها، وهم يعني يمسكون اللي هو مجلس التمكين، ويعدلون عن بوليسي، يسهلون عليهم ويسوون اللي هو الكارير باث. هو اهم نقطة ان المؤسسة تسمع، مش ان اتوظف وخلاص نحن وظفنا اصحاب الهمم خلاص، لا، تفكر تطورهم. لانه في واحد حاب انه يمسك مثلا مكان هو يرتاح له اكثر، يعني هو بدايه ما يمسك اللي يباه، فعقب انه على اساس انه يمسك البوزيشن اللي يباه انه يطورونه.
خصوصا انه واحد لما تو بادي في اي مجال مهني اصلا هو ما يعرف وين السكيلز ومهاراته وين، فبعد ما يجرب نقطة نقطتين مكان قسم إدارة فريق بعدين يشوف شغفه وين موجود.
صحيح.
ممكن انه يكون تطوير شيء مشابه لمجلس الشباب، يكون في طرح آليات وأفكار يعني دورات جانبية، أو يطلعونهم برا يروحون يتمكنون من بعض المهارات، لما يرجعون يلقون شغف ثاني في مجال ثاني أو قسم ثاني.
صحيح.
يعطيك العافية أخوي عبد الرحمن. حد عنده أي استفسار الأخ عبد الرحمن؟ شخصيا أنا عندي حد من أهلي عمره 12 سنة مشخص بالتوحد، ونفس التحديات اللي أنت تقولها هو حاليا في مجال الدراسي في العمر هذا الصغير، مش لما يكبر. كيف نحن نقدر ندعمه في البيت كأهل؟
هو
خصوصا انه هو نون فيربل، يعني
نون فيربل. انا ولدي عبد الله الحين عمره 8 سنوات، هو تشخص وتوحد يوم كان عمره 4 سنوات. والتحديات اللي انا كنت اواجهها قبل انا عرفت كيف اتعامل مع الولد، والحين الحمد لله الولد ذكي في مدرسة حكومية.
ما شاء الله.
فانا ما قلت ابى اضيع دراسته، قلت لا، هو قدها يدخل مدرسة حكومية، لكن اللي في المدرسة لازم يفهمون شو هو التوحد وكيف يتعاملون معه. فيوم عرفوا والحمد لله هو مخلص الروضة، الحين بيدخل الصف الثالث. ف اخوك ما عليه خوف، يعني ان شاء الله ما عليه خوف، يعني بيتوفق باذن الله. فهو اهم شيء الاهل، انك كيف يتعاملون معه. اهم شيء في مراكز متشخصين كيف يتعاملون ويقوون لغتهم ويتكلمون، وبعد مهارات ثانية بعد. ف يعني انصح ان يروحون للمراكز، بس مش معناته ان هذا هو الحل فقط، اللي هو الدور الكبير الاهل، ان كيف يتعاملون مع الولد ويتوفق ان شاء الله.
بس انت ما شاء الله تجربتك الشخصيه كانت سباقه، يعني انت على طول من عمر وايد صغير عرفت شو الحلول وشو تسوي، ويمكن رحت المدرسه ورحت وعيتهم. نحن او اي عائله ممكن ان تكون تمر بالشيء لاول مره تاخذ السنين لين تستوعب ان شو هو الطريقه الافضل اني اتعامل مع هذا الطفل. نشر التوعيه مره ثانيه.
نشر التوعيه صحيح.
الموضوع. يعطيك العافيه اخوي عبد الرحمن. حد عنده اي استفسار او مداخله؟ تفضلي.
هل شفت أي نتيجة إيجابية بعد ما دخلت ولدك؟ لأن اتس فيري هارد إنك أنت تدخل ولدك في توحد. أول شيء هيز فيربل أو نون فيربل؟
فيربل.
هي شفت نتيجة إيجابية عقب ما دخل مدارس الحكومة وتعامل مع الناس؟ هل شفت عليه يعني تعامله كلامه تغير ولا لا؟ هل تنصح؟ لأن نحن أظني معظم اللي في عائلات الإمارات أظني أتوقع أغلبهم نون فيربل. So it's very hard ان احنا ندخلهم المدرسه. اي ثينك هاي الانشيتيف دخل من 4 سنين، حاولوا يدخلون العيال اللي فيهم توحد المدارس وفشلت التجربه فرجعوهم لمركز زايد للتوحد. فبعرف شو تجربتك عقب ما دخل المدرسه، هل في تغيرات في تعامله في كلامه؟
هو ولدي هو من بداية ما كان اجتماعي، فبعد ما دخلت مؤسسة زايد قبل أن يدخل الروضة حكومية يعني وايد تحسن بالكلام بالحركة وكيف يعبر عن نفسه. وبعد ما دخلت الروضة حكومية الحمد لله يعني توفق. بس هو الحين ما شاء الله ذكي ويحب الرياضيات ويعبر عن نفسه، لكن لغته انجليزي اقوى من العربي. فهذه بعد بدايتي كانت. بس يعني يوم قارنت عمري بولدي انا اشوف ولدي صراحة اتطور بشكل كبير، فمنها فايدة.
ممتاز أخوي عبد الرحمن. بس نطلع من مرحلة الطفولة والمدرسة، خلينا نقول في مرحلة الجامعية، لشخص يعاني من التوحد أو من شخص يواجه لو كان تحدي جدا بسيط، لأن اللي عارفة أن التوحد سبيكتروم، ومثل ما ذكرت الأخت أن أغلب اللي معانا أو اللي موجودين حوالينا نون فيربال فيري تشالنجينج. لجميع مراحل التوحد هذه المرحلة الجامعية، شو هي أفضل طريقة للكادر الأكاديمي أنه يطور منهم تهيئة لهم في المجال العملي لاحقا؟
يعني أنا الصراحة يوم أنا ما كنت أرتاح يوم كنت أروح للأماكن المزدحمة. ف بس كان لي فرصة إني أكمل دراستي عن بعد جامعية. ويوم الجامعة عرفت إني أنا متشخص بالتوحد، فسووا لي نفس ما تقولين سبورت يعني لأصحاب الهمم. فإذا يعني بيكملون دراستهم في الجامعة وهالبلاتفورم متواجد حق أصحاب الهمم، يقدرون يكملون دراستهم. يعني مثلا ما يحسبون عليهم الوقت حق تسليم البروجكت، اهم شيء انه يستلمونه. وبخصوص بعد الامتحانات والديدلاين هاي مسهلين عليهم. هو اهم شيء انه يساعدون اصحاب الهمم او اللي فيهم التوحد انه يكملون دراستهم ويطورون مهارتهم.
يعني لازم السياسات أصلا تكون مرنة لهم،
صحيح.
تقديم الدعم التام كل واحد باحتياجاته لأي يعني لأي نوع من أنواع التحديات أو التشالنجز.
نعم. وبعد نقطة نسيت أضيفها، أن نفس ما تعرفين أن نحن بعضنا نشتغل فول تايم، ونحن صعب علينا أن نفرغ وقت حق الجامعة. فيعني الصراحة الدراسة عن بعد وايد سهلت علي، أنا ما اضطريت أن أخذ لي بارت تايم وأكمل دراستي، لأن أنا عندي مسؤولية، يعني عندي عيال، عندي حرمة، عندي بيت. هاللي خلاني أن أكمل الشغل فول تايم وأخلص دراستي يعني الحمد لله.
ما قصر الحكومة في الدعم.
نعم.
أعتقد العمل عن بعد والدراسة عن بعد كانت is a blessing to everyone. يعطيك العافية أخوي عبد الرحمن. We reached the end of our session. Thank you for your insightful conversation. We now move into a discussion that shifts the lens towards something equally important: people, support system, confidence, and how we truly empower talent to grow. Please welcome علي منصور با منصور.
الله يعافيك.
Now we will be having a conversation titled Empowering Siblings of Individuals with Autism and Entrepreneurship, Supporting Talent and Building Confidence. Ali, can you please introduce yourself and tell us about your experience as a sibling of a person of autism?
Hi, I'm Ali Bamansour. I'm a student at Al-Ittihad National Private School, Shakhbut. And my experience with my brother is that it was hard in the beginning, but now we got better and our connection got way stronger. And Alhamdulillah, it was a very good experience.
Is he older than you or young?
No, he's younger. He's right there.
Oh, mashallah. Hello. So now we're seeing the lens from a different perspective. We just touched upon this topic of being a family member and how to support. How did you support your brother at the beginning?
At the beginning, we had a little of miscommunication, but I supported him by being there for him. That's the most important thing. And at the same time, anything he needed, anything he wanted to do, I was there by him, by his side, and it was a successful thing.
If someone does not understand how is it the dynamic between siblings with person with autism, how would you explain the challenges to them? How would you tell them what they are expecting and how to deal with it?
The first thing, they might expect that there will not be a lot of communication because maybe they will not understand each other.
Is he nonverbal?
No, he's verbal.
Verbal.
But sometimes he doesn't feel like talking to anyone. And the only people that can talk to him is actually my mom. My mom's very close to him, and anything he needs, he goes to my mom and tells her. And the challenges are, in the beginning, he couldn't make a lot of friends. That's what happened in the beginning. But when he got into the American Center for people with determination, he got used to it, and he learned that when you talk to people, you can learn new things and you can get used to meeting new people.
How do you build confidence in your siblings' ability and encourage them to develop their skills?
To develop confidence in someone, we need to, as I said before, be there for him or for her. And the most important thing to build confidence is you need to gain their trust in the beginning. When you gain their trust, you can talk to him. You can tell him that everything's going to be okay, and you need to learn new things. And when you learn new things, you can gain confidence easily.
So you yourself also were going through that development also,
Yeah.
because you were learning how to deal with him. What did you learn?
I learned that as siblings, we need to have a good connection, a strong connection with each other. Because I learned that there was a time when we didn't talk to each other a lot, and actually I felt like our connection was getting weaker and weaker every time. So when I went to him and talked to him and sat next to him, we were talking, we were doing things, and as Omar does, he likes to create things out of cardboard and out of scratch and build them as very good stuff. Yeah, he made DIY stuffs.
He's mashallah
and he's very
creative.
smart, alhamdulillah. He's very creative.
حاول بالعربي.
بالعربي؟
Okay. هل فكرت أخوي علي بالمهارات اللي هو حاليا موجودة فيه؟ يعني أنت قلت أنه هو ما شاء الله مبدع ويحب يسوي الأشياء from scratch. هذه المهارات اللي موجودة فيه كيف أنت اكتشفتها في البداية وكيف هي ساعدتك أنك تبني هذا التواصل بينك وبينه؟ فشو هو الشيء اليونيك أو الشيء الفريد اللي أنتم تسوونه بس بينكم أنتم؟
بس بيننا نحن.
هي.
الشيء اللي اكتشفته هو أن عمر نفس ما قلت قبل وايد يحب يبني أشياء من الكرتون ويبني أشياء يعني على قولته من ولا شيء. يعني يبدأ أشياء من الأرض ويبنيها على أشياء ما شاء الله عليه يعني تصاميم ويصمم مو بس انه في الحياه الورقيه، يعني يسوي اشياء في البي سي عنده وديجيتال، يعني من الاشياء الديجيتال اللي موجوده في حياته.
شو بعض البروجكتات اللي هو اشتغل فيها؟
نفس
ما
ما
يبتوا لنا
كنا
شيء نشوفه هني اللي كنا عرضنا. شو بعض البروجكت؟
يسوي هو في شيء اسمه الدي اي واي، اللي هو من الكرتون يبني راس اللي هو ستروبري ويا عيون ومن هالاشياء يعني، وما شاء الله يعني يقدر يسويها بشكل ممتاز.
ما شاء الله عليه. أعتقد أن بنتكلم اليوم عن مهاراتهم الإبداعية كلهم، لكن نحن كطرف ثاني موجودين في العائلة، كيف نحن نقدر ننمي هاي المهارات؟ يعني الحين أنا كأخت في البيت كيف أني أقدر أنمي هاي المهارة حتى لو كانت مثلا ما تستهويني أيا كانت، كيف أني أكون سبورت وأكون داعمة لهم وأنميها فيهم، سواء كان عمر صغير أو حتى لو حد كان أكبر عني.
اذا ابى انا وادعمه واساعده بالاشياء اللي هو يبى يسويها، هو اهم شيء اني اروح واكلمه، واي شيء يحتاجه يقول لي اياه، عسبت في نفس الوقت نبني علاقه وبقدر اساعده بشكل كبير. لان هو نفس ما قال لي قبل، كل ما اقول له عمر قوم بنطلع بنروح بنشتري لك اغراض، يقول لي يلا اوكي، ويروح ويستانس ويشتري له اغراض، بعدين يرد البيت واقعد وياه ونبني مع بعض ونسوي. فالصراحه بست اكسبيرينس.
نقدر نعرف من نظرته هو شو الأشياء اللي كان يتضايقها منك؟ يعني أشياء كانت تضايقه وكيف حليتوها؟
الاشياء اللي كانت تضايقه هو وتضايقني انا في نفس الوقت، يعني لما اقول له عمر اذا سوى شيء غلط يعني بالغلط وما اعرف يحلها، اقول له عمر ساعدني، ويقول لي علي خلاص لا تكلمني، ان عسبت يركز في الشيء اللي هو قاعد يسويه. وعقب رحت انا بعد ما خلص الشيء اللي هو كان يسويه اسحبه عصب واقول له عمر هالشيء كان غلط، لان هالاشياء اللي استوت يعني نفس قبل انا بالغلط ركبت شيء في الاشياء اللي كان يسويها وكان يباها في مكان ثاني. سحبت عصب بعد ما خلصنا وقلت له ان عمر هني شكله احلى، وتشوف حتى في الصوره وريتك اياها. وبعدين لانه هو كان مركز في الشيء اللي قاعد يسويه، فسحبت على يمك وقلت له جي جي جي. عقب لما فكر واستوعب ان هالشيء صح، قمنا نكمل ونسوي، وكان يسمع الكلام وانا اسمع كلامه اذا يبى شيء من طرفين الصراحه.
كانت عندك أنت خلفية قبل عن الأشخاص اللي عندهم التوحد وكيف التعامل معاهم أو كيف كانت أطباعهم، ولا أنت الخبرة هاي انبنت معاك؟
الخبره هاي انبنت ويا اخوي.
ما شاء الله، يعني it's
الحمد
out of
لله.
experience.
out of experience.
طريقة الحوار أو إذا التواصل بينهم، نصيحة واحدة نقدمها للناس.
نصيحه واحده اللي هي يعني إذا عندك أخو أو أخت يحتاجون مساعدة ولا شيء، لازم تكون موجود وياه. يعني مهما كان، مهما الوقت، مهما الشيء اللي قاعد يسويه، لازم تكون وياه وتدعمه وتقول له أن أي شيء تحتاجه أنا موجود، وأي شيء تباه.
من الناحية التعليمية والتدريس، هل أنت يعني معاه في المجال التدريسي تساعده أو تعرف التحديات اللي هو يواجهها، وأنتم كأهل وأخوان حتى الوالدة الله يحفظها، شو أنتم تسوون عشان تساعدونه في المجال التدريسي في البيت، وكيف يتم تطبيق بعض الأشياء في المدرسة؟
زين، في البيت أي مساعدة يحتاجها أول شيء يروح عند أمي تقول له إذا تبغى شيء روح كلم علي، لأن أنا رمستها وقلت لها إذا عمر يحتاج شيء خليه يرمسني، أنا بساعده في المدرسة وفي الدراسة في أي شيء يحتاجه. وفي المدرسة حاطيننا في برنامج الأشخاص من أصحاب الهمم.
في المدرسة برنامج
في
مغطينه.
برنامج.
عادي تكلمني عن البرنامج؟
البرنامج شو بدأ من سنتين تقريبا، وانا ما كنت اعرفه الا هالسنه، لان عمر هالسنه دخل في البرنامج. لما دخل في البرنامج في البيت ما كان يتكلم وايد، يعني كان اوكي يسولف ويانا وشي، بس ما كان يفتح سوالف فولي. كان يسولف ويانا عادي وشي، بس بعد ما دخل البرنامج ويا رجع البيت قام يتكلم، ويعني يسرع عن مشاعره وكل شيء. وكانوا يساعدونا حتى في الامتحانات وفي واجبات في أي شيء، وما شاء الله الحمد لله علاماته قامت ترتفع، وبعد حتى مرات هو يساعدني في أي شيء أحتاجه أنا، فيساعدني وأنا أساعده.
نقدر نعرف البرنامج هذا كيف ساعده، إذا هو حاب يشارك ولا أنت تقدر تتكلم؟ إذا حاب. لا. كيف البرنامج ساعده؟ أنت قلت إنه كان في البيت مو بوايد يحب إنه يتواصل، وفجأة قام يتحدث وينطلق في الكلام وتغيرت شوية مهاراته. كيف ساعدوهم؟
نفس ما قلت
شو اللي
لك،
قدموا؟
عمر كرييتيف. عمر ما يحب الأشياء يعني ما يحب يفكر بشيء يركز فيه وايد حسبت بعدين يقلب وها. بس لما يا عمر دخل البرنامج ساعدوه المدرسة انه على الشيء اللي هو يحبه، على الشيء اللي هو يحب يركز فيه وايد ويحب يشتغل عليه. يعني هو مهارته كانت في creating new things and يبني علاقات. لما ساعدوه يبني علاقات في المدرسة كان يرد البيت يقول له أمي شوفي أنا شو سويت، شوفي أنا شو بنيت هالمرة، رابعت واحد جديد. ونحن كلنا كنا في البيت نفرح الصراحة والله. الحمد لله الحمد لله.
قبل ما نختم جلستنا، في حد عنده أي استفسار أو سؤال أو مداخلة؟ أخونا علي. السؤال الأخير، شو النصيحة اللي نقدر نقدمها للجمهور؟
النصيحة هي
كأخو من جانبك الشخصي.
كأخو لازم توثقون في مهاراته. أي شيء يبغى تساعدوا، يعني لازم تساعدونه في هالشيء. و يعني أي شيء يحتاجه لازم تساعدونه ولازم تكونون سند له. نفس ما أنا كنت سند لأخوي في البداية، كنت مقصر وياه بس الحمد لله الحين مو مقصر وياه الحمد لله.
المتحدث اللي كان قبلك شوية حاولت أسأل، أنا عندي حد من أهلي صغير عمره 12 سنة، كم عمره أخوك؟
15.
عمره 12 سنة بس هو نون فيربل، وفي تشالنج وايد كبير إن إحنا أهل ما عندنا خلفية أو وعي في هذا المجال، فكان تشالنج وايد كبير إن نتواصل معاه، ما نعرف هو شو احتياجاته، شو مضايقنا، شو يبى منا. فشو النصيحة اللي توجهها لي أنا لطفل عمره 12 سنة نون فيربل فيها هي؟ واعتقد هو بعد يحب الكرييتيف ستاف ويسوي اشياء، بس اكثر شيء بلاي ستيشن.
اذا هو يحب بلاي ستيشن بشكل كبير،
حتى البلاي ستيشن ما في كونفرسيشن.
يقدر يستخدم شيء اسمه الجيم بوي اللي على ايام ابوي والكبار، يعني كانوا يستخدمون شيء اسمه جيم بوي، وما كانت فيها الالعاب ان قتل ومن هالاشياء. كانت فيها اشياء نفس انه ماتشنج و يعني يجيب شيء يشبه هالشيء، يعني ميموري جيمز ومن هالاشياء. هي بيساعده في هالشيء وايد.
هل نوع اللعبة تأثر عليهم؟
لا.
يعني إذا كان شيء شوية عنيف أو سيايير أو في شيء كراشينج، ليش ذكرت إن لازم الألعاب ما يكون فيها عنف؟
هو الأحسن إنه ما يكون فيها أشياء فايلنت يعني.
أوكي.
بس إنه أشياء فيها كراشنج وشيء عادي ياخذها في المستقبل كأنه شيء عادي، ياخذها كأنه شيء طبيعي من هالأشياء.
يعطيك العافية
الله
أخوي علي.
يعافيك.
شكرا على وجودك، إن شاء الله عمرك صغير تحرك كبير. يعطيك العافية. شكرا عمر.
مدرسة الاتحاد الخاصة، اتحاد ناشونال برايفت سكول شخبوط.
اثنيناتكم؟
هي اثنيناتنا.
ما شاء الله، يعني مع بعض في المدرسة. يعطيك العافية.
يعطيك العافية، طول عمرك.
We'll take a break here. Take this moment to connect, reflect and recharge, and we'll see you back shortly at 2 p.m. Welcome back. Our session will now resume. Please come closer to the Leaders Majlis for the next session. I'll say it again. Welcome back. Our session will now resume. Please come closer to the Leaders Majlis for the next session. Our next session brings us closer to the reality of performance, what it takes to build, sustain, and grow from personal experience. Please join me in welcoming Mohammed Rahma, covering the topic titled, Most People Stop at No. At one no.
Hello? It works now. So, thank you so much for the introduction and thanks for inviting me over here. I've been through the event itself and I think this event is something that people should take advantage of because when we started our own businesses, we did not have exposure to such kind of things that actually can help and speed up things. Where today I'm here to relate off of personal story so then people can learn. And usually I always say this before I speak, today you will listen to so many talking people, so many speakers, and you're going to be attending few kind of like workshops. The takeaway from this is not looking for an answer. Today, looking at what works for you. You take 5% from each speaker, you can take 10% from some of the workshop that you're attending, and then see what works for you. What works for me, 99% is not going to work for you, but you can take a lesson and then adapt your own kind of style into it. So let me start. So I started my life as a professional athlete. And today I have raised to build, and I've raised investment to build the biggest project I've ever built. And actually, my current company, we produce and manufacture beach sand. And I know it sounds very strange and weird because when we speak about people that this is my business, everybody have that question mark and saying, what does beach sand have to do with sports? Because I've always believed in once you follow your passion and once you follow your beliefs, then make this work for you and then start making money out of it. And now you're going to ask how a professional athlete build a business of a beach sand is related to sports. At the beginning, when I started, I played sport at the age of 8 years old, and I started playing football. And at the age of 18, nature made me stop. I had the disease called Crohn's disease, which made me stop playing football, and it was very severe. And at that time, I thought sport would have been my bread and butter, where I would make money, and I can see all the professional athletes making money, and I was growing into that kind of environment, and I thought that was it. Fast forward a few years later, being a professional athlete is not the only way to make money. And your passion, it doesn't mean that if, let's say, for example, I like drinking water, making water is going to be the one I build business around it, but it can be anything from printing labels and adding value to it. And this is where I reached after a while. So after football stopped, I was still persistent at saying, okay, I'm good at being an athlete. And I was pushing to become an athlete as an athlete itself and not looking at what's around, what's supporting athletes. So I started playing rugby. Did not make money. Rugby was definitely not the sport to make money. So my first venture of starting a business to make money from sport, I thought opening a federation or an association would have helped this, and I was very wrong. From the first, it took me like 9 months to start the UAE Rugby Federation, and the first board meeting I was voted out. So again, I goes back into like, okay, I tried sport, football, and then disease stopped me from playing it. And now I started rugby. I opened the rugby federation, and then again, something forced me to go out. I did not stop there. I went and I started surfing. So surfing became my new passion and something that I really enjoyed. And I competed for the UAE national team internationally. And this is where things has actually opened up for me. And this is just me because I was persistent and focusing on playing a sport. But I never knew I would be sitting here today talking about beach sand, right? So when I started surfing, I again wanted to make money. In sports, to make money in sports or to make good money in sports, you have to be top 40. Otherwise, you don't make money. You're spending so much more money than you're actually gaining into it. So the first thing I did in the sport, I saw there was a gap in the market. Nobody has surfboards. Nobody was selling surfboards. So I opened a surf shop as my first kind of business. It did not go very well. I was not making money. I was not losing money. I was barely breaking even. And that was not what I wanted, right? I wanted to quit my job. I wanted to open a business, and I was definitely thinking the wrong way. So I qualified to play for the Surfing World Cup, and I got qualified in Peru. So I went there. When I came back, I saw so many people ask me, where do you go surfing? Where do you travel? So I thought it's an opportunity to open surf travel or a surf safari, we call it. And then I opened this and I started taking surf tours to Sri Lanka, to the Maldives, and slowly building that. But yet it was not making enough money because it was only me. And I realized that people are going to the surf trip is to surf with me. So I couldn't even hire people to do that. And I don't have enough time to do this. So even that did not make money. And then I thought, you know what? We live in a country that has no waves. What is other alternatives to go surfing? And I saw people surfing behind the boat. We call it wake surfing. And I bought a boat and I opened a marine sports and still did not make money. So I thought, you know what? I need to get rid of it. So I combined all three businesses together and I sold the business with not much money, right? At least break even, retrieved my money back. Fast forward, 2020. I was trying to qualify for the Olympics. At that time, I thought, what is the best way to do this? At that day, I thought my passion was a sport, but then I thought about it, but then my passion was to actually help people grow because I saw the joy I had when I was taking people on surf trips. So I thought high performance center, something we don't have in this country, something can actually elevate people, something that if I teach an athlete to become a high performer or a CEO or like even an entrepreneur to become a high performer, then that person can grow. That person can benefit his family, they can benefit their community. In my mind, sounded like an amazing idea. I spent 4 years studying, training in a high performance center, working as a part-time in a high performance center. I brought the idea here. I have met 327 different investors. Every single one of them said no to my idea. It was not easy. You know, it is hard. You know, we say this in a sport that 90% of kids stop playing a sport is not because they fail. Is because of the drive back home with their parents. It's the way that they tell them how they did not perform very well. And that was what I felt, right? And I felt every time I'm pitching my passion, something that actually works, something we don't have in this country, something that we are struggling in this country, and yet at saying no. I never knew why, I never understood why, I never knew how to do it, and I kept persisting and I kept going. Sometimes God throws you a different path. In 2024, Abu Dhabi wanted to build a surf pool, and I got invited to become a consultant so I can bridge surfing with the UAE Emirati culture. I went for that meeting to become a consultant for that project. In the morning, they made me stay, because I'm from Dubai, so they made me stay in a hotel. In the morning, I had a breakfast with the CEO, and I said something out of a joke, right? Like I did not even mean it. I just wanted to joke around with the CEO. And I said, people paying 6,000 to stay at your hotel and this is the beach sand you give them? Because I've traveled 73 different countries and I've surfed all those countries and I can know a good beach sand from my feet and standing on it. I don't know biology, I don't study earth science, neither I studied none of those things. So I wouldn't know the chemical, whatever it is in it, but I know the feel of it. And then he said something that actually like sat with me, right? And he said, you know how expensive it is to actually refurbish this beach. We have no natural beaches in the UAE. It's all either dredged or from the mountains, or we buy it from outside, and it's very expensive. For me to fill up this beach, I would require at least 200,000 cubic meter. I don't know what cubic meter was at that time, by the way, right? Like I was, so, you know what I did? I was like, huh, interesting. I actually asked the restaurant to give me a bag, and I filled the bag with the sand in from the beach, and I took it home. I don't know what to do with it. My wife goes, what is this for? And I was like, I don't know yet, right? I know there is something in it. And then at that time, I was trying to qualify for the Olympics, for the Japan Olympics. I traveled all the countries. Every single country I travel with, I bring a sample of a beach with me on the airport. And I swear to God, until today, every single time I come into Abu Dhabi, I would get caught in the immigration saying like, what is this? I was like, beach sand. He's like, شو تسوي في هاكل هذا؟ ليش جايبنا معك? What is this for? I did not know what I wanted for. I honestly did not know why I was collecting beach sand. My wife goes crazy because our whole house is beach sand from all over the place.
You know what's funny? That's my life at home with my husband. It's filled with samples of beach sands. That's funny.
That's actually...
I'm firsthand going through that.
And then one day I got caught for military service, and I never was working. I never went to military service because I used to be country manager for one of the companies here overseas, so I was always abroad. My military service, because at that time I had some kind of illness, they put me alternative service, which is like grade 6 as they call it. They put me in the sugar factory. As soon as I walked in the sugar factory, I was like, what? This is what raw material of sugar looks like? It looks like sand, and then your end product is like crystallized, see-through, cubical sugar. I was the only Emirati in the national service that was actually taking notes and paying attention of how this goes from here to there. And I would spend 2 hours after everybody leaves, and everybody was going like, what's wrong with this guy? I did my first sample, and it took me a year. I've tried so many different things, and I created that kind of, let's say, recipe, and I took that recipe to the laboratory. They confirmed that it was good, and I took that sample, put it in the CEO's office, and I get a call next day saying like, where did you buy this from? And I was like, no, I can do it here. He's like, where did you do it? I was like, at home. And then he asked me a question, can you scale up? So I could not scale up. I do not have the money to build it. I'm not even close to having the money to build it. I go to the bank, they think I'm crazy. So I had to go back and then go 2 rounds again. And, you know, when you start from zero, when you start from not even having that kind of connections, you look at your phone, it's like, all right, who do I call? How do we even start from here? And I did it one by one. I have met 737 different investors until the 738 said yes. A project that I had a signed contract for, nobody was still willing to invest. I never gave up. I started with not even knowing one investor. Slowly, I spoke to every friend I have, from my previous jobs to my friends in school to everybody, and then one by one would introduce me to one person. That one person introduced me to second person, third person, fourth person, 5th person, and I just kept repeating myself, going back and forth until the number 600 something, and then I was like, okay, maybe I'm doing something wrong. And I met someone that actually genuinely helped me, and I will never forget this. And he said, what's wrong with my pitch? He said, today you're asking me to invest in one person. You have all the information, you have all the data. What happens tomorrow if something happens to you? What happens to my investment? It goes with you. I was like, all right, makes sense. And then I started having a partner with me, because I believe life is a team sport, right? What I'm not good at, XYZ is good at. What he's not good at this, the other person. So then I said, all right, I'm not good at finance. I'll hire someone in finance. I will give him a little bit of what I know. And then I know I'm not good at operation. I hired someone from operation. And not even hired. I didn't have money to hire, so I said, I'll give you 2% of the company, 1% of the company. And then I start having people in place. So now when I go to a meeting, we are a group of 4. We're not individual. Slowly taking attraction. Next problem we had is when I spoke to him, I was like, it didn't work. And then he was like, because right now you are too small for the big investors. You are too risky for the small investors. What do you do? How do you close that gap? How do you do this? And then it was no answer for this. The only answer for this is we meet a crazy investor that's willing to risk it or take a risk. And we finally met one. And now today, we're having a beach sand, a company that actually can scale up to become an exporting out of the UAE, a company not just to serve the UAE beaches, but then also to expand and then go internationally. We're doing something that's never been done before, something that's out of this, that even though it sounded good on paper, yet we did not have that kind of things. And we're speaking today is because today, events like this, they listen. And today, even if they listen and say no, you need to ask why. You need to start learning from the mistakes. Don't do what I did. Today, the hardest part is hearing the word no. No shuts everything and breaks everything. It makes you feel less of who you are. Because you have to remember something. This is your passion. This is your future. The investors, events like these, speakers like us, we are just a tool to help you to achieve what you want to do. Once you believe in it, once you see it in your dreams, once you see it in your mind, it can be done. Never give up. It happens. Again, as I said, for me, it's not because I'm good at it. It just came to me, and it's just because I was very cautious what's what around. And we never said no. Whatever they say no, after a while, for me, them saying no, it just felt like, because I got used to it now. Now, when someone says yes, I was like, Wallah? What? Seriously? I had to call my wife that day. I was like, they said yes. There has to be something wrong with this, right? It got to that level that I was starting to question why they said yes. And then my wife keeps touching me like, la, it's a really good idea. They believed in you. I could not sleep for like 2 weeks because I was like, what do they have hidden agenda? Why they said yes? It has to be something different. It got to that level where that it hits my insecurity, right? It's like, And then you start doubting what you do, start doubting your project. And this happens. This happens. Again, today we speak is not to show you, give you the key of how it's done. Today you have to adapt your own. Today everybody of us have a different kind of style. Today we kind of like give you a hope. Because before, even when I go to listen to speakers or like read books, I was doing it for the wrong reason. Because I was looking for an answer. But it was not the answer. It was taking 1% from each person, 5% from each book, and then adapt and then start trying. Try one way, fail. Try another way, fail. Because you will only know what works for you is when you try.
To you, Muhammad, what kept you going? You said from 2020, you've been going maybe even way before that. What pushed you to continue trying? Because at the end of the day, if I see that every way that I'm trying to push and it's nothing is going, like I'm not receiving anything, then I just give up.
Yeah.
And maybe try something new later.
99% would do this.
What keeps you going?
I believed in it. I believed in it and I believed in myself. I would literally, every time it says no, I would have a conversation to myself.
Do you have a support system at home?
I have my wife with me, and she's being one of the most supportive person. I would go home broken. I should go, let's try again.
So having a support system
Of
is
course,
number one.
1000%. And this support system can be any one of yourself, right? Have people around you. Have people who tells you in your face. Have those people that challenges you. Have those people that will actually, and this can be any one of yours, right? Your friends. When I started, this is, I don't know whether this is a men thing or this is a me thing, but I never open up. I would have never opened up. I would always keep it in. I would always
That's
leave it
men
in.
thing.
Okay, then that's a man thing. It took time, right? My wife would try it out of me. She would ask me the same question 70,000 times, like, what's wrong? How is it? And then you will have that slowly. And then she would ask, how does that feel? Then when you start reflecting back to your life, because now I speak, I reflect back to my life, I reflect what I've done. How many of you today reflect of how things, the good things that they've done and how they have improved? I would bet a lot of people don't do this. Today, if you look at it, how you started to where you are today, there is always that improvement. And this improvement, once you see it in yourself, that's the encouragement for you to go. Because today, when you go back, say like, oh, I met this investor, but this time was different. This time was a little bit of like, and it was back and forth. Then you're like, oh, okay. So it was an attraction, but it was the wrong person. And then you go meet someone else, and then I was like, you learn something. And then you're like, okay, maybe I did not get it, but I learned 1 out of 10. And then you just keep going. Once you reflect back to where you started, to where you are, because today you are what you wished for when you were at that time in those few years before and then before. But then how would you know it? Unless if you reflect back or you have someone to speak to. Today, psychologists, people think psychology only for people having problems, having like depression people, emotional people. But no, today you have psychology for business. Today you have psychology for high performance. Today you have what they call them, like life coaches, and all of these guys are here to add value, because these are the people that will get the best out of you and will tell you where you are and how it's gone. So use those for growth and use this for performance. When we looked at High Performance Center, one of the pillars and one of the most important things for athletes was psychologists, sports psychologists, because sports psychologists are the ones that actually show you, tell you who you really are, shows you the truth of who you are, and that person lets you open up.
Before we wrap up the conversation, what is the most important skill in your own personal life and your own experience that you would want to share with the audience here?
Believe in yourself. Again, this is your vision, this is your life. Nobody cares except for you. Fight for it.
Anyone has any question for Muhammad before we end this conversation? Thank you, Muhammad. It
Thank you
was a
so
very
much.
inspiring conversation. Thank you for coming here today.
No worries, my
and
pleasure.
I'm really glad to have this conversation with you personally as well. And we'll go now for a short break. And hopefully I'll see you back at 2 p.m. Thank you, everyone.